What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you're over the shock of the Dallas Cowboys coaching search, where we now have Brian Schottenheimer. And checking the pulse of Cowboy fans, people are pissed. People are pissed the hell off, which is why I think you saw that as a Friday night dump of the news. I honestly believe that the Cowboys were getting scared that they were running out of options and figured they needed to hurry up and do something. Now, this is going to lead a lot of questions. And see, right now with the Cowboy fans, I've said that the Cowboys need to do something big to start the process of winning back the fans. But maybe that's not what the Joneses are worried about. Maybe it's not. Maybe they don't care about winning back the fans. But we've got some real issues to deal with. And one of the ones I'm going to say is Micah Parsons. Let's just think about this for a second. Micah Parsons, who called Dan Quinn Uncle Dan. And here's where you look at this stuff and say, wow. You've got Amari Cooper, who you gave away for a fifth-round draft pick, was traded 3 years later to the Buffalo Bills for a third. You've got Dan Quinn, Joe Witt, and another coach from last year, a guy who, we blamed everything on the defense on Dan Quinn sucks. He doesn't know how to coach. Along with Biotish, Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, and a defensive back. All guys that we're no problem. We don't need those guys. We don't need those guys at all. Let them go. They're losers. Those guys are all playing. Oh, and Kellen Moore, offensive coordinator, are all playing tomorrow. We've been out of it for a couple weeks now, people. And now we've hired a coach whom nobody had ever even requested to have an interview. Now, I don't think that the problem is going to be Brian Schottenheimer. Quite frankly, if Dak Prescott's healed, you're going to be a better team just for having that. If Cooper Beebe continues playing better like he was doing during the season, you got yourself a standout center. Tyler Smith, he's lights out. Brock Hoffman, if they can bring him back, he seems to be a good replacement for Zach Martin. Now, Terrence Steele, maybe you end up cutting him, saving some money, and you go out and get somebody else, or maybe you take Tyler Guyton and put him at the right. And if they can find a left tackle, and if they can add another really good wide receiver, the Cowboys' offense will score points. Brian Schottenheimer knows enough about this offense that they'll score points. The bigger question is the defense. And I would love to know right now what Micah Parsons is thinking. Because Micah Parsons, who literally went hat in hand to Jerry Jones and said, you know what, I'll take a team-friendly deal. Let's get this thing done. I'd like Zim back in the same way he said, I'd like to have Uncle Q back. And now, 2 years in a row, guys that he's gotten on board with are now gone. How does that make your comfort level feel? Now, this hire, if it's followed up with typical Dallas Cowboys offseason, where come middle of March, they're on vacation, and they haven't even re-signed any of their own players. They're literally the last team to sign any free agents, be it their own or anybody else. Then this season is going to be a disaster. This team will be a disaster. It just will. This will be back to the 5-11 type days, because the team cannot only rely on this draft. We've looked at the last couple of drafts, and we haven't plugged any holes with the players that we drafted in those drafts. We need help at tight end. I had hoped that Jake Ferguson was going to be the real deal, but last season was abysmal. And as everybody goes through and they jump on deck, and this is where Walker Wade, he's literally crying. And for all those out there that kept saying, get rid of Mike McCarthy, get rid of Mike McCarthy, he's a jackass, I'm tired of seeing Mike McCarthy. Well,
are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you were here?
you asked for it. You asked for it. But I think if the Cowboys, because we do, this is where time's short. Today's what, the 25th? We got 7 weeks. Are you going to let Dorrance Armstrong go and not replace him? Oh, excuse me. Osin Digizua go and not replace him? You going to let Golston go and not replace him? And just say, well, we got Sam Williams coming back. We got Mozzie. We got Micah. We'll get some guys after training camp. But I think the Cowboys risk losing Micah Parsons and that goodwill. They need to get Micah Parsons' deal done sooner than later. They need to do something to show we're not the same old Cowboys that we've been. And I think since you've now brought in Brian Schottenheimer, and in some regards, I think Brian Schottenheimer has been brought in to be the placeholder for Jason Witten. We haven't heard that he's hired yet, but I can best believe from the way things seem to be pointing that he's part of the mix. They're going to groom him underneath Brian Schottenheimer. But the Cowboys are going to need to do some work. We have too many holes to fill. Left tackle, tight end, number 2 wide receiver, defensive line, defensive end, linebacker, and probably cornerback too, with Diggs possibly being out for part of the season, if not all of the season. And Overshown the same way. And so with us having 3 picks in the first 76, which is great, your next one isn't until like 148 because we traded our 4th-round pick for Jonathan Mingo. And I don't think he's going to be our number 2. He hasn't shown much of anything this year or his time in Carolina. But the Joneses got some work to do to try and win people back. And dare I say, Micah Parsons. Because now Micah Parsons, although Matt Eberflus has started out his career as a linebacker coach and been very, very successful. And it may be that he is great for Micah Parsons. And I believe that Brian Schottenheimer will be good for Dak Prescott. The question will be is, will the Joneses be good for the Cowboys? And that remains to be seen. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see business as usual. Probably by the end of the summer, we'll get Micah Parsons signed to one of the top contracts in football. And we won't see us get any other help. We'll hear the same old song and dance. We believe in our own guys. So I'd really like to know. Here's something from Micah. Have a good evening, good people. And I got to get out of here.
I can't stand it anymore. I've got to get out of here. I've got to get out of here. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Stewardess, please let me handle this.
I've got to get
Calm down. Now get back to your seat. I'll take care of this. Calm down. Calm down. Get a hold of yourself.
Doctor, you're one on the phone. Everything's gonna be all right. Please.
Sister, please, I'll handle this.
I've got to get out of here.